I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This one's going to be a pay-per-view card. Over in Canada, the main event's going to be Belal Muhammad taking on JDM. And the co-main event's going to be Valentina Shevchenko taking on Fiorot. So a very decent main event and co-main event. Before we get into breaking down matchups, making predictions, we look at my bets from last weekend on the Patreon. My UFC bet's done pretty well. I was one fight away from a clean sweep, and that one fight was Bo Nickel. Other than that, all of my selections, they done pretty well. But then I kind of let myself down on a rising ticket that didn't go my way. But we jump into the pay-per-view. Let's go. First matchup on the card, guys, and quite an interesting one. We've got Katona taking on Bekzat Almakhan. And for anyone who doesn't remember Bekzat Almakhan, he fought Umar Nurmagomedov in his UFC debut. And I'm pretty sure it was short notice. He did get dusted in that fight. He got destroyed in that fight. But it's Umar Nurmagomedov. He's now taking on a very experienced, a very well-rounded, a very seasoned Katona in Canada. So another tricky fight for Bekzat Almakhan. But he should do much better this time round, considering it is a drop down in competition. Katona's good. He is very good, but he's no Umar Nurmagomedov. So I don't really see Katona being able to ragdoll Bekzat Almakhan. I do expect Bekzat to perform much better this time round. But guys, still, it's a tough fight for Bekzat. You're in Canada, you're fighting Katona, someone who's so experienced, so well-rounded. But I do expect a close one. I think this is going to be a very close fight. And I am leaning more towards Bekzat Almakhan, surprisingly. And he's a favourite. I've seen the odds. He's a -170 favourite. And I kind of agree with that. I think he's going to stay on the feet more. He's not going to be ragdolled as much as he was against Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm actually going to pick against the Canadian. I'm going to pick Bekzat Almakhan to get a nice 29-28, potentially a split to start the card. That's my first pick. Next matchup, guys, we've got Daniel Santos, who trains with Charles Oliveira and basically has the same style as Charles Oliveira. Muay Thai boxing on the feet, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the canvas. He's taken on the Korean Tiger, Jeong. And I think this matchup right here is very difficult to make a prediction on because Daniel Santos, he's extremely dangerous anywhere the fight goes. He's got dangerous striking, dangerous clinch, dangerous ground game. He's just Charles Oliveira from Wish. He's just an off-brand Charles Oliveira. And on the flip side, you've got the Korean Tiger, who's also dangerous. But for some reason, he went 0-100 against Hyder Emil and got dusted. And that performance was surprising. It was surprising to me because previous to that performance, Jeong, he shows composure. He's a good boxer. So to see him go 0-100 against Hyder Emil and to get clipped and to get dusted in round one, to see him perform like that, it was surprising. And I do think this time round, he's going to show more composure. He's going to show more composure against Daniel Santos. But guys, Daniel Santos hasn't fought in like nearly 2 years. And that is a concern. That is a red flag. And that's going to play into my prediction here. I'm going to side with the Korean Tiger, not only to win this fight, not only to show more composure. I'm going to side with the Korean Tiger to win via KO TKO. I think he's going to dust up Daniel Santos in a composed way. He's not going to go 0-100. He's not going to show that lack of IQ the way he did against Hyder Emil. I think he's going to be composed. I think he's going to box. And I think he's going to find the KO TKO in Canada against Daniel Santos. So that's my prediction. I'm going to side with the Korean Tiger, Jeong to get it done. Next matchup, we've got Bruno Silva taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Another very tough prediction to make on this card. Guys, if the fights are difficult to predict, that means the matchmakers, they're doing a good job. And I do believe this matchup right here is quite difficult to predict. So Marc-Andre Barriault, he's all about pressure. He's about breaking down the opponent with constant pressure, always inviting the opponent into a dogfight. He loves to push the opponent against the fence, wear them down against the fence. However, his defense is very bad. He walks forward in straight lines. He's extremely hittable. And his durability recently, if man like Dustin Stoltzfus is able to dust up Marc-Andre. Dustin Stoltzfus folded Marc-Andre like a deck chair. He folded him like an omelette. You know what I'm saying? He sent him to the King of Shadow City, Ben Askren. And if man like Dustin Stoltzfus is able to do that, then just about anyone can do that to Marc-Andre, especially Bruno Silva. There's no doubt in my mind that Bruno Silva has the ability to stop Marc-Andre, but Bruno Silva has bad cardio, and at times he shows up looking drunk. He really does. Remember that fight against GM3? He seriously looked drunk in that fight, but there's times where he goes toe-to-toe against Alex Pereira and actually has moments against one of the best strikers of all time. So guys, if Bruno Silva connects early in round 1 with the chin of Marc-Andre, if he connects early in round 1, there's certainly a chance he can dust up Marc-Andre. But if the fight goes past round 1, I'm assuming it's a Marc-Andre performance with the pressure, the ability to push Bruno Silva against the fence, wear him down against the fence to the body and just break him down in classic Marc-Andre style. And I'm going to make this my first Canadian prediction. I'm going to pick Marc-Andre to win in Canada as the Canadian via KO TKO in the final round. That's my first Canadian prediction. But like I say, if Bruno Silva finds his chin in round 1, you know, if Dustin Stoltzfus is able to drop Marc-Andre, so can Bruno Silva. He really can. Because Bruno Silva, despite his bad cardio, despite sometimes looking drunk, he does possess a lot of power. Next matchup on the card, we've got Navajo Stirling taking on Ivan Erslan. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this fight because, in my opinion, guys, an easy fight to predict. A very easy fight. Navajo Stirling is just a cardboard cutout version of Carlos Ulberg, Black Jag. He's doing the exact same things. The footwork, the composure, the Muay Thai on the feet. He's just doing the same things as Carlos Ulberg. He's from CKB. And he's just doing the same things. Now, Ivan Erslan, he fought Cutelaba in his UFC debut. And anytime you fight Cutelaba in a UFC debut, you do need credit, even if the fight doesn't go your way. Respect to Ivan Erslan. But there's a big difference on the feet. I know there's an experience advantage for Ivan Erslan. He's got more fights. He's got 18 fights. Whereas Navajo Stirling, he's only got 6. But on the feet, it's not going to look like that. It's going to look like Navajo Stirling has the experience. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. Navajo Stirling, the footwork, the composure, the striking, the countering. He's just doing the same things as Carlos Ulberg. And it's an easy fight. So yeah, my prediction has to be Navajo Stirling. That's the pick. Next matchup on the card, we've got the Moldovan Hulk, Yeong Cutelaba taking on Modestas Bukauskas, and this is a banging matchup, a very, very decent matchup on this card. A great job by the matchmakers with this matchup. When you're looking at Modestas Bukauskas in his last performance, it was a beautiful knockout. Such a beautiful knockout against Sakara, and that's making me lean towards Modestas. But then you look at Cutelaba in his last performance, and I predicted he would win against Ibo Aslan as like a plus 150, plus 170 underdog. And so many people were leaning towards the Turkish power of Ibo Aslan. And it's hard to disagree with that, right? When Ibo Aslan's knocking everyone left, right and centre, when Ibo Aslan is sending everyone to the King of Shadow City, Ben Askren, it's hard to pick against Ibo Aslan. But I did side with Yeong Cutelaba to win that fight. Because his experience, his ability to bring the opponent to the canvas, his ability to show the aggression early in round 1. But the thing with Yeong Cutelaba is he's got the same problem since day 1. And it's always to do with the cardio. Once he goes past round 1, if you can survive that early storm, that Moldovan storm from the Hulk, the Moldovan Hulk, if you can survive round 1, then you've basically won against Cutelaba. You've basically won. The fight is now yours to win. And that's pretty much been the problem with Yeong Cutelaba since day 1. It's always been his cardio. He'll go 0 to 100 in round 1. If you survive round 1, now the fight's yours. But guys, I will mention one thing. There's also a chance that Cutelaba causes so much damage in round 1, even if his opponent survives. Let's say Modestas survives round 1. What if he survives with a broken orbital? What if he survives with a broken nose? What if his eye is completely closed from the ground and pound in round 1? even if he survives round 1, there is a chance that he's received so much damage that he doesn't even know he's in a fight. He's on autopilot. So Cutelaba could be tired going into round 2 with a 10-8 or a 10-9, and he's caused so much damage against his opponent that it doesn't really matter that he's slowed down, because his opponent at this point doesn't even know he's inside the octagon because he's been badly concussed. And I'll also mention this. It's been 10 years since Yeong Cutelaba has won 3 fights in a row, and he does find himself on a 2-fight win streak. So if he wins this match up here, it's going to be the first time in 10 years that he's won 3 fights in a row. And I'm going to side with the Moldovan Hulk. I'm going to take Cutelaba to get it done, either in round 1 or round 2. I think Modestas, he's so technical, but he'll leave his chin in the sky. And against someone so aggressive, against someone so powerful like Yeong Cutelaba, that's the type of thing that'll get you sent to the King of Shadow City, Ben Askren. So I'm going to side with Yeong Cutelaba. I'm going to side with the Moldovan Hulk via KO TKO. Next matchup on the card, we've got Jessica Andrade, the former champion, taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius. And I don't want to say it's an easy prediction to make. I don't want to say it's an easy one, but it does feel like an easy prediction to make. It kind of does. I think Jasmine Jasudavicius, she's in form. She's just in that beast mode. She brings the opponent to the canvas. She knows what she's about. That's the thing with Jasmine Jasudavicius. She's not a striker. She's not a boxer. She's not a kicker. She's walking forward for one thing and one thing only: to pressure the opponent against the fence, to pressure the opponent, to get the opponent going backwards. Jasmine Jasudavicius understands how to win fights, and that's to bring the opponent to the canvas, look for submissions, look for ground and pound, look to destroy the opponent on the canvas. And that's what Jasmine Jasudavicius is all about. And guys, in all fairness, she has been improving fight to fight. She has been getting much better fight to fight. And I think Jessica Andrade, she's going to be taken to the canvas. If she can keep the match up on the feet, let's say she stays on the feet against Jasmine, then she's going to box her up, right? She's a much better striker than Jasmine Jasudavicius. But can she stay upright? Can she stay on the feet against Jasmine Jasudavicius? That's my first question. And straight away I'm answering, no. I doubt it. I really do. I think Jasmine's going to bully her. Jasmine's going to bring her to the canvas. And it's a Canadian win. It does feel like a Canadian win in this matchup. So even though Jessica has been a former champion, even though Jessica has so much power, even though Jessica is a much better striker, much more experience, more fights under her belt, it does feel like a Jasmine Jasudavicius type of matchup. It's just the timing. You know, 2025, Jasmine's in form and Jessica Andrade, not so much. So I'm going to side with Jasmine to get it done. And I think she could potentially submit Jessica Andrade, you know, ground and pound into a submission. I think Jasmine gets it done. Next matchup, we've got proper Mike Malott taking on Charles Radtke, and a banging matchup. This is a tremendous matchup. Mike Malott has excellent jiu-jitsu. His black belt jiu-jitsu on the canvas, it's good to go. It really is. But let's not forget, Charles Radtke also has amazing jiu-jitsu. If the matchup stays on the feet, I think Mike Malott over the years, he's improved his striking. His striking is very good. He's got power. You see that against Mickey Gall. The way he folded Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall hit the canvas so quick when that left hook connects. It was beautiful stuff. But I think Charles Radtke, his boxing, his understanding in the stand-up, his boxing ability, it's good to go. So what you've got here is a banging matchup. If it goes to the canvas, they're going to compete. The jiu-jitsu on display, it's going to be good to go. If they're on the feet, again, they're going to compete. The boxing on display, the power on display, it's going to be good to go. But I don't feel a Canadian win. I don't. I feel Charles Radtke, I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to stop Mike Malott in Canada. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong with this fight. But I'm going to side with Charles Radtke via KO TKO. Next matchup on the card, we've got Benoit St. Denis taking on Kyle Prepolec. And we don't need to spend too much time on this fight. Kyle was taking this fight on extremely short notice. He's 0-2 inside the UFC. And Benoit St. Denis, he's got a layup. This is a layup, right? Benoit St. Denis inside the distance. And that's what I've got to say. We don't need to spend too much time on this fight, but I do want to check the odds. I've not seen the odds on this fight. I'm assuming that Benoit is like minus 1,000. That's my prediction on the odds. And if he's over minus 1,000, it wouldn't even shock me. Minus 1,200, minus 1,100, minus 900 is the best offer you can get on Benoit Saint Denis. And that's because he wins inside the distance. Maybe round 1, maybe round 2. If Kyle Prepolec can go 15 minutes, then it would be like a moral win for Kyle. But yeah, Benoit Saint Denis inside the distance. That's a lock. Next matchup, we've got Alexa Grasso taking on Natalia Silva. And I am so torn on this fight. I'm so torn because Alexa Grasso, the former champion, the Mexican boxer, her boxing ability is second to none. The jab, the 1-2, the way she chains together those boxing combinations, it's phenomenal stuff. One of the best female boxers in the UFC. I've been saying that from day one. On the flip side though, you've got Natalia Silva, who's a phenomenal kicker. Her taekwondo ability, the way she blasts the opponent with those kicks. This is a classic boxer versus kicker. And those matchups, they're tough to predict. They really are. And it almost comes down to who's able to fight at their range. If the boxer can get into boxing range, into the phone booth, in the pocket, then we know the kicker isn't at their range. And if Natalia Silva can keep the fight at kicking distance, you know there's space between her and Alexa isn't landing the jab because she's too far from the jab range. If we're at that sort of distance, then Natalia Silva, she's going to be scoring with the judges. It's all about distance. It's all about distance when it's boxer versus kicker. And I think round 1, it's going to be difficult for Alexa Grasso to find that boxing range. So I give Natalia Silva round 1. But then in round 2, I think Natalia Silva starts to slow down. And that's where Alexa finds her boxing range, starts to land the jab, starts to let the 1-2 go. And I think she's going to win round 2. Then you've got a 1-1 fight going into that final round. And Alexa Grasso being the former champion, Alexa Grasso having so much experience under her belt, she might have enough know-how to win that final round. But Natalia Silva, man, she's been so impressive. She's been so impressive. 6-0 in her UFC career. I went against her in her UFC debut, and that's when I learned about Natalia Silva. After that UFC debut, I never picked against Natalia Silva again. Those kicks, those taekwondo kicks, the power, the speed, the technicality, the ability to land those kicks is second to none for Natalia Silva. But Alexa, man, the former champion, the boxer, if it's 1-1 going into the final round, I kind of lean towards Alexa, but this one's so tough. It's so tough. I'm smelling a split decision in this fight, and I'm going to go with... Who am I going to go with, man? I'm going to go with... I don't know. I don't know. This fight's so good. I'm going to take Natalia Silva, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's boxer versus kicker. This is a tough one. So tough. I'm leaning towards Natalia with a split. Next matchup, we've got Jose Aldo, the king of Rio de Janeiro, versus Eamon Zahabi, the king of Canada, almost in a way. This fight right here is a very, very decent matchup. And I'll tell you one thing about Eamon Zahabi. Eamon Zahabi has won his last 5 fights, and 4 of those fights have been as an underdog. And again, Eamon Zahabi is an underdog in this fight. He's going against the king of Rio de Janeiro, Jose Aldo, Scarface, you know? So of course he's going to be the underdog. But I'll tell you one thing about Eamon Zahabi that I've really learned over the years, more specifically over his win streak. His timing, his understanding of range is so good. It's so good. He's not moving around the octagon. He's not using energy. He's not wasting motion. He's just so locked in. The moment the fight starts, he is so locked in, so composed, so patient, and he understands every single range. And that's why Eamon Zahabi continues to defy the odds. Now, Jose Aldo also understands a lot about striking, as we know, the former champion, the legend, the king of Rio de Janeiro. So this matchup here, it's going to be a banger. It really is. But I have to lean towards Jose Aldo. I understand Eamon Zahabi has done so well over his last 5 fights. But this is Jose Aldo. This ain't Pedro Munoz. This ain't Javid Basharat. This ain't Arichi Leng. This is the king of Rio de Janeiro. And if Ayman Zahabi wins this fight, I'll be the first to say it. He's one of the most underrated UFC fighters of all time. That's going to be my opinion of Ayman Zahabi if he gets a win against Jose Aldo. But I have to lean towards Jose. I do think it's going to be close. It's not going to be like a one-sided fight for Jose Aldo or Ayman Zahabi. But I do lean towards the Muay Thai, the kicking ability, the understanding of what he's in there against. Jose Aldo understands that Ayman Zahabi is good. He understands that. And I have to lean towards Jose Aldo. Moving into the co-main event, and a phenomenal co-main event. We've got the champion, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko, taking on the challenger, the French beast, Manon Fiorot. And this matchup right here, I know I've said it a few times on the card, but it's the truth. This matchup right here is phenomenal. It really is. Valentina against Manon. Both of these girls have amazing Muay Thai striking. Manon has more of a karate style, but she's also about Muay Thai striking. And Valentina Shevchenko, in my opinion, and I'm sure most of you would agree, her Muay Thai striking is some of the best Muay Thai striking we've ever seen in the UFC octagon. And I'm not just saying about females. I'm saying overall, Valentina's Muay Thai is on a completely different level. But this matchup, man, it's a striker's delight. Manon has amazing kicking. Valentina has amazing kicking. So how do we make a prediction? How do you pick between Valentina and Manon? I think Valentina obviously has more experience. She has championship experience on her side. But Manon is just such a beast. She's been a beast in every single fight. I do think at times she kind of slows down a little bit. But Valentina arguably passed her absolute best. And when I say that, when I say this fighter's passed her absolute best, I'm not saying that Valentina can't win. I'm not saying that Valentina isn't still a beast, because she is. She's an absolute beast. But I do think she's passed her absolute best. Now, if we flip that question to Manon Fiorot, if we ask, is Manon past her absolute best? I think the answer is no. I think she's getting better fight to fight. I think she's been good her whole UFC career. But right now, it's about going in there and taking the title from Valentina Shevchenko. That's what it's about now. Now it's become champion or be known as that fighter that's very, very good, but wasn't good enough to become champion. And that's what we have to ask ourselves. Is Manon Fiorot going to go in there on Saturday night and win the championship from one of the most dominant Muay Thai strikers we've ever seen, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko? Is Manon going to defy the odds? And when I say that, I'm actually wrong, because Manon is the favourite. But is she really? Is she really a favourite against Valentina Shevchenko? I think this fight's going to be so close. I really do. I don't know who wins round 1. I don't know who wins round 2. I don't know who wins any of these rounds. But what I do know, it's going to be close, man. It's going to be so close. I lean towards a new champion. I lean towards Manon Fiorot with a 48-47, potentially a split against Valentina Shevchenko. I just think Valentina, she's starting to slow down. And she did win that trilogy fight against Alexa Grasso. But anytime you fight an athlete, anytime you fight an opponent 3 times, that takes a lot out of any athlete. Even if you're the best in the world, which Valentina is, when you spend years on one opponent, that takes a lot out of the tank. It really does. And Manon Fiorot, she knows that. She knows that, man. She knows that if she doesn't win against Valentina on Saturday night, then she's never going to be champion. It kind of feels like now or never for Manon Fiorot. And I do think she's going to just about do enough against a past prime Valentina. And again, when I say she's past prime, I'm not saying that she's going to win against someone that's washed. I don't think Valentina's washed, but I do think she's past her absolute best. And that's why I lean towards Manon Fiorot with that sidekick. That sidekick is a thing of beauty. But can she land it against Valentina? This is going to be a chess match. It's going to be a pure chess match on the feet. And I lean towards a new champion, the French beast, Manon Fiorot, 48-47, potentially a split. I'm expecting a split because I think all of these rounds, they're going to be close. They're going to be extremely close. But I lean towards a new champion in the co-main event. The main event, we've got the champion, Belal Muhammad, remember the name, against the challenger, Della Maddalena, JDM. And this again, I'll say it one final time on this card, a phenomenal matchup by the matchmakers. Because Belal Muhammad, in all fairness, man, he deserves the credit. He deserves the respect of a champion. Because when you look at his performances, they are exactly that. Championship performances, the wrestling, the cardio, the pressure, the ability to break down the opponent against the fence, on the canvas. He just does the right things time and time again to get his hand raised. And I'd love to see Belal Muhammad do the same thing once again. Because recently, Belal Muhammad's talking about, I'm going to go in there and show him Canelo hands. I'm going to go in there and box with him and break him down with the boxing. Now, you don't do that against JDM. You don't do that against JDM because Della Maddalena has been doing that to the opposition, to the opponent. JDM's boxing is phenomenal. Look at the hands of JDM. Look at the hooks. Look at the jabs, the body work, the way he can set down the opponent, the way he destroys opponents with his hands. JDM is all about boxing, and I've never picked against JDM. I've not done it yet. His boxing is second to none. But Belal Muhammad, his wrestling, his cardio, his conditioning, his ability to bring the opponent to the fence and break him down time and time again is also second to none. If Belal Muhammad wants to stay champion this weekend, you have to fight to your strengths. You have to do what you've got to do. Wrestle JDM, push him against the fence, bring him to the canvas, drown him in that Belal Muhammad type fight. The same thing he's done against all of his opponents. The same thing he done against Leon Edwards. That's what Belal Muhammad has to do. But if Belal Muhammad is telling the truth, that he's really going to go in there and box with JDM, then look for a JDM KO TKO. Look for JDM to fold Belal Muhammad like a deck chair. Look for JDM to send Belal Muhammad to the King of Shadow City, Ben Askren. If this fight stays on the feet and Belal Muhammad truly believes he can box with JDM, I don't believe it. I do not believe it for 1 second. If he does that against JDM, JDM becomes champion. He's going to become champion. Now, I don't think Belal is really going to do that. I don't think Belal's stupid enough to do that against JDM. Belal's going to do what Belal does. Push him against the fence, bring him to the canvas, drown him, test his cardio, test his wrestling, his grappling, look for ground and pound, look for submissions, and just do what Belal does. You don't remember those Belal performances too much, the same way you remember JDM folding his opponents with the boxing. But I do think, remember the name, Belal Muhammad stays champion. I'm going to have to pick against JDM for the first time. I just don't think he's got the wrestling ability to be in there with someone like Belal Muhammad. You're seeing against Gilbert Burns. Burns got him to the canvas more than once. I just think Belal Muhammad, with the experience, the wrestling, the fence work, the groundwork, the conditioning, the cardio, I just think Belal Muhammad is too good for someone like JDM. And guys, don't get me wrong, JDM, his boxing is phenomenal. If it stays on the feet, he could KO TKO Belal Muhammad if it stays on the feet. But I don't think it will. I think JDM gets pushed against the fence. I think he gets brought to the canvas. I think he's going to get tired against someone that can fight round in, round out at such a high pace. Belal Muhammad is a workhorse. He's got more to offer than JDM. JDM's just a boxer, and a great one, but he's just a boxer. Belal Muhammad has more tools, more ways to win, and I think he's going to stay champion. So my prediction has to be Belal Muhammad and still. As always, my homies, drop down your favourite predictions in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Peace.